r/ask Reddit, what unrealistic things in movies annoy the hell out of you? Everyone has an awesome house or apartment regardless of their job, unless the character is specifically supposed to be poor. And even when they are poor, they still usually live in some fashionably cozy place that someone struggling in real life would not be able to afford. E.g., a $2,000 Brooklyn apartment. When someone gets knocked off their feet by an explosive shockwave then jumps right up and keeps running. Seriously, if you're close enough to get knocked over, you're not going to be running anywhere. All your organs are an inch further back than they were before. Your entire head has equalized and your teeth, nose, eyes and ears hurt. You're also deaf for a moment. Black Hawk Down did this right when Spud stood up next to that gun. Deaf for the rest of the movie. It always irks me when two characters are talking in a car and the driver makes prolonged eye contact with the passenger. What bothers me most about that is when you start wondering if it's part of the plot or if it's just IT directing. Like whenever the driver looks away for more than a glance, I start expecting the passenger to shriek look out and point at something. And the trope of them being T-boned by a truck for plot reasons. You know it's coming when all the camera shots are angled from the passenger's seat towards the driver. Any hospital scenes where someone is on a ventilator, but they are not intubated. Basically any hospital scenes. Or they pull out an IV cannula and there isn't an instant river of blood all over the place. I had surgery about 8 years ago and after they removed my IV they told me to hold pressure on my hand. I did. For a few minutes. And I made the dumb decision to release it to check if it would bleed. It didn't immediately. So I thought I was good. 10 seconds pass and the nurse was like, you know you're bleeding all over the floor, right? I look back and there is indeed a river of blood behind me. One time after getting an IV removed as a kid, the nurse told me I had to keep the cotton pad on it or I would spray blood. I was skeptical so she took the pad off and my arm turned into a squirt gun. Surprised the hell out of 9-year-old me. When someone says let me show you and pick up their conversation 45 minutes later when they arrive. What? They didn't talk about it during the drive. Did they just drive in silence? Tell me. No, you have to see it. Really? Just tell me. No. National Treasure always gets me. Nick Cage tells his buddy, in the National Archives, that he's gonna steal the Declaration of Independence, and then next scene they're sitting at the Lincoln Memorial and his buddy picks up the conversation like, what do you mean? Dude, that's like a 20+ minute walk. Did they just walk in silence the whole time or rent scooters? I burst out laughing the last time I watched it. Let me show you. Get in the car. So how far away is this place? About 50 miles. Oh okay. So anything you can tell me about it? I have to show you. Oh okay, cool. So, how long you been doing this job? Grunts and turns on the radio. Hey, I love this song. Rolls up to location with McDonald's bag, both singing with the windows down, parks car and intensity immediately returns. We're here. The way people pick open locks. Nothing about it looks real, mostly. They just channel their inner lock-picking lawyer. Click out of 1. 2 is binding. If blood is needed for some reason, don't make a little cut. Someone convenient. Slit your entire palm, which would cause so much pain, and then shrug it off when the action starts. The Winchesters would like a word on how necessary it is to almost chop off an entire appendage for a drop or 2 pf blood. I think it was a joke from the writers cause it really was ridiculous as frick. You would think their palms would just be horrible scar tissue by now. They could just prick their finger. Fingers bleed for a ridiculously long time if you don't cover up the injury. There is always a free parking slot right in front of the building that they are going to. I feel your rage, brother. An IT guy, girl who knows everything about computers, networking, all operating systems, all applications, hacking, programming languages, etc. without consulting Google. Well, he smacks the keyboard, so there's that. The lack of a mouse or pointer really annoys me on top of the random keyboard hammering. When someone throws a grenade into a building and manages to make a nuclear level explosion out of it. In It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I loved when Mac and Charlie were trying to fake their own death. trying to blow up their car with a grenade. Lmao. They had the exact same reaction I did when I was in basic training and saw a grenade go off for the first time. What? That's all grenades do. The way frag grenades become huge plumes of fire annoys the it out of me. Seeing someone die because of flying shrapnel isn't as entertaining as seeing a freaking mushroom in the air. Unfortunately. Gotta show the gore and shredding up in front. Then. Monologuing bad guys. The Austin Powers movies made a huge running joke out of this cause it is completely heinous. Terry Pratchett had an interesting take on the trope. Something Vimes had learned as a young guy drifted up from memory. If you have to look along the shaft of an arrow from the wrong end, if a man has you entirely at his mercy, then hope like hell that man is an evil man. Because the evil like power over people, and they want to see you in fear. They want you to know you're going to die. So they'll talk. They'll gloat. They'll watch you squirm. They'll put off the moment of murder like another man will put off a good cigar. So hope like hell your captor is an evil man. A good man will kill you with hardly a word. You sly dog, you caught me monologuing. It may sound strange, but coffee in the movies annoys the hell out of me. You can tell there's never any coffee in the cup. It even sounds hollow when placed on a surface. And when was the last time someone handed you a fresh coffee and you immediately tip the cup 90 degrees and take a huge sip without ever checking the temperature? Drives me nuts. Wait, you don't shotgun your boiling hot coffee immediately and then pretend to take sips from the empty cup? Weirdo. The boiling flesh rolling down my throat is my favorite part. I understand why they wouldn't use real coffee, but why just not put water in the cup to give it weight or something? Soldiers always using automatic fire with their assault rifles. In reality, automatic fire wastes ammunition and is only used in special situations. Reminds me of Archer whenever Cyril screams suppressing fire, and always misses. When they have just woken up after a long sleep, and they look fresh as a daisy. What's worse is when ladies have a full face of perfectly applied makeup without any smudges. I liked how in Bridesmaids Annie woke up early to apply makeup then got back in bed to fake just waking up that way. This was also done in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Women being chased always trip and fall. Except when it's inconvenient to the plot. Exhibit A. The lady from Jurassic World outrunning a T-Rex in heels. In her defense, it's pretty easy to run in heels if you need to. You just balance on the front part of your foot rather than the heel. Obviously it's uncomfortable, but better than being eaten by a T-Rex. And if you wear heels all the time you're gonna be used to it and know how to move. The new kid always arrives mid-lecture, gets full on the spot introduction. Hell, as if the professor actually cares who they are. Or in high school cases, like showing up late on your first day would somehow be acceptable. At my high school, tardiness in the first week of a semester was forgiven, because the school was huge and finding the room you needed to be in could prove tricky. This was 15 years ago, so maybe times have changed, though. A pistol having more rounds than a World War II Normandy machine gun. Silencer is more silent than a girl's sneeze. Enemies can't shoot a target 10 feet in front of them. Protagonist can shoot a target 1 mile away with a pistol, while running, in the rain, under constant fire. Zoom in on that license plate. On that potato quality photo, video, enhance. Ding. Wait, there's a reflection in her pupil. Enhance that reflection. And I present to you, the color. How the main character knocks out the enemy for 5 minutes, then runs 10 blocks, makes a left and runs another 5 blocks only to have his enemy get up, run, look around for 15 seconds and know exactly where the main character went. Or more infuriating, when they run 17 miles and open a locked door, and the pursuer is on the other side of the door. Like bro, if you know exactly where your prey is heading and you've got Scotty on speed dial to beam you up, just save yourself some effort and go there first, instead of running after them. The knocking out itself isn't realistic. Grown adults playing kids. High school boys clearly in their mid-20s that are ripped and have no skin imperfections. Even though I like the movie, the kids in Remember the Titans all look like 30, and complete absence of parental figures whatsoever. Fancy ass houses with scotch in those fancy aftermarket bottles, yet mothers and fathers nowhere to be found. They use tiger sounds for a lion. They do this in some nature documentaries as well, and it infuriates me cause if you're making something educational, at least make it realistic. I suppose a related one would be use of red-tailed hawks for bald eagles to make them sound more intimidating. Congrats, you've made it to the end. You're a beast. Like and subscribe for more r/ask Reddit content. It's free, so why not just do it?